Well, is this going to be a devs listen moment or devs messed up? Regarding the version 2.3 preview special broadcast to our dear rovers, after the Wuthering Waves version 2.3 preview special broadcast, we received plenty of suggestions, thoughts, and criticisms from you. We've been paying close attention to all the feedback, and we'd like to take this opportunity to address your concerns and sincerely apologize for the disappointment. A roadmap for the recent version of Wuthering Waves allocated development resources to an anniversary experience in version 2.3 that is both relaxing and entertaining. However, this allocation did not meet our rowers' expectations for an anniversary celebration. At the same time, we fell short in how the broadcast was structured, scripted, and presented, leading to a poor viewer experience. Okay, personally, I actually thought their broadcast was great. I thought they did a really good job with how they structured that. I don't think that's an issue, personally. We at the dev team have identified and acknowledged certain shortcomings in our content management, preparation, and delivery. What happened has shown us even more clearly that Wuthering Waves' accomplishments over the past year would not have been possible without our rovers, especially rovers who have been with us on this journey from the very start. We want you to know that we are planning future versions with you in mind, so please stay tuned for more updates. Again, we deeply apologize for failing to meet the expectations of our longtime rovers. We also recognize there is still much room for improvement in how we operate and support the game long term. We're committed to growing and refining every aspect of Wuthering Waves. To express our gratitude and sincerest apologies, we're launching a login event this week where the following content will be available to unlock and claim. The opening time will give in a later official announcement. Login event content: Radiant Tide times 10, Forging Tide times 10, Lustrous Tide times 10. Thank you once again for your support and belief in Wuthering Waves dev team. So 10 limited pulls, 10 weapon pulls, 10 standard pulls. You know what's funny? If those pulls had just been part of the anniversary initially, added on, I don't think people would have been that upset over the anniversary at all. Because that's essentially 20 more pulls. 20 good pulls and 10, I mean, standard pulls are useless, right? But 20 more pulls. And people would have been like, hey, that's great. The only problem is I think that people felt so pissed off that they felt disrespected. I wonder if it'll change people's minds. You know? I wonder if it'll be enough. Hey, it's good for me. I'm loving it as a new player. We can see old players feeling meh. Yeah. I wonder. They said that we're also planning future versions with you in mind, so please stay tuned for more updates. I wonder what that really means. Well, you know what? Anyone who said that the rewards were good enough and anyone who complained is, ungrateful, don't log in and get these rewards. I don't think that you should be allowed to take those if you thought it were fine. Because it seems like the devs caved in and agreed. So if you thought it was fine, you aren't allowed to use these polls, okay? I think that's fair, right? Because you're on the wrong side of history, bucko. If you thought, no, it's fine. No, they don't owe us anything. They shouldn't do that. Then you know what? You don't log in. Don't take those polls. That would be wrong, right? um. So here's the thing. 10 character pulls, 10 weapon pulls. I think that's pretty nice. 20 pulls is great. For me, personally, I mean, it's kind of enough because, like, I do still think it shows some sincerity in their apology. I think for a lot of players, though, it doesn't. I think for a lot of players, this is not enough, and they're still going to be unhappy, and they're going to be like, that's it. Like, and I really think that the problem comes down to people feel disrespected. If they had day one been like, and here's one more thing, we're giving out this login event, people would have been like, okay, that's more polls. That's 20 more polls. Okay, that's pretty good. But now that people feel so disrespected, I feel like they should have just gone with a selector with like Jian and Yinlin or a weapon. I feel like they should have done that. I really do. I think that would have smoothed it over way harder. If they did a standard selector that also included like a couple of non-standard characters, or you can choose a weapon, I think that would have smoothed it over immediately. I do. Does it make me happy? You speak from your perspective, not others. I mean, my perspective doesn't really matter on the situation because I understand anyone who's still upset and I understand why they're upset, right? It makes sense. I mean, my perspective is I could just spend money and pull the character. So it's like whatever, right? It doesn't really matter like what my experience of the game is. It matters what like the average player is and I understand why they feel the way they do, right? And realistically, if you just look at how it is, you're releasing one of the most anticipated characters of all time and you're rerunning all the banners at the same time and people can't pull on two banners, right? People are unable to pull on multiple banners off of these things. So am I still mad? Well, the thing is, guys, I was never really mad. I was just disappointed by it, right? I was never pissed or upset. Like, oh my God, how could they do it? I was disappointed. I was like, damn, really? Like, okay, that kind of sucks. And I think these polls are enough for me personally, right? Because I was not asking for a crazy amount for the anniversary. I was not asking for an insane thing for the anniversary. I just wanted them to give enough to feel like it was more of a celebration and to be thanking the players, is how I felt, right? So, I mean, for me, this is fine. I'm fine with this, right? 20 more on top of the like 37 or whatever, so it's like 57. I'm perfectly happy with that. I think that's great. But I think a lot of people are going to be pissed, right? That's how I see it. W bullying, you can't bully a company. That's just you can't bully them. They're not a person. You can't bully a company when they make millions of dollars off of the people. It's not, you just can't bully them realistically, right? You're just asking for your just dues, is how I see it. I think it's good that players were upset with the anniversary. I think some people go way too far with it, and some people are asking for the moon. They're like, we should get free Zani. It's like, what? And then anyone who was expecting free Jacona or something who looked at like leaks or whatever, people kept saying that like leaks said this, leaks said that. Anyone who's expecting stuff off leaks, honestly, just eat shit. You get what you deserve, which is getting owned. Um, like those people, like I really have nothing good to say to them. It's like their fault. It's like, you know, I went to the fortune teller and they told me I would be a millionaire and now I'm not rich. What the hell, bro? It's like I'm not gonna trust those people. It's like they do it for money. Leakers do it for money. They have Patreons and crazy stuff and they put like their name over leaks and all sorts of stuff. Like, why are you gonna trust these people? Really? Come on. Um, but I think if for the anniversary stream they had said in total it's going to be 57 polls, I think people would not have had a problem. I do. Do you think this is damage control or they really want to apologize? I don't really care, is how I see it. Look, here's the thing, guys. It's always going to be a tug of war between the company and the player on both trying to get what they want. Whether it's an insincere apology or it's just a bribe to say stop being mad, it doesn't really matter to me, realistically. I don't really care. I more care about does it feel like it's enough? To me, I feel like it's enough overall, personally. For me personally, I could understand why some people would still be upset because they feel like, well, now that we've been disrespected, we should get more. But me, I don't really mind too much. They've built up enough goodwill with me that I was like, even though I was really disappointed by it and thought it sucked, um, I don't hate the company after it or something, right? Because it's not like they completely lost me. But um, for me, I think this is kind of enough. But some of you guys might still be disappointed, which is a shame. But hey, I think it's good that a lot of the players banded together and said, hey, we want more. This is not good enough. And now they acquiesced to the players' demands and they gave more. Um, if people are still expecting more, I would say it's unlikely unless China's still revolting. If they're still pissed, then we might get more. But we'll see. Why do you care about the magical number 37 when overall it was only 10 to 15 more polls than a normal patch? I don't know the exact number of polls that were given in the patch, and you may be right. If the total amount of polls in the patch is only a small upgrade, and then this is on top, then that's pretty lackluster, and that's really weak. And you're absolutely correct. I don't know the exact number of polls that will be given out. I'm not going to trust some of the things that people were saying are leaks, because I don't really know, and look at what happened when people trusted leaks in the previous thing. They got completely wrecked and were expecting so much more than what actually happened. So we'll see exactly what happens. But I still think this is going to rub a lot of players the wrong way just because they didn't do it in the first place. And I see lots of conspiracy theories of people saying stuff like, well, maybe they were purposely doing this as a devs listened moment. It's not that. That would be such a stupid idea. Any moron who actually came up with that in like a board meeting would look like an idiot and a clown in front of everybody at the company, right? Oh, what if we just pretend to be dumb and then we give them things, then they'll think we're geniuses. Nobody actually thinks that. It's a stupid move, right? Like, why would you do that? You would just want to initially give out good rewards so everybody's happy and pogging out and having a great time, right? It's like, duh, right? It makes no sense. It literally would be the worst move of all time. Look, they've already had their devs listen moment. Like, you can't go double devs listened, right? Doesn't make sense. I'm not going to make conspiracy theories either of people were saying like, well, what if it's not Kuro, it's actually Tencent blocked them? Like, I don't know. I don't work at the company. I have no idea. Could it happen? I don't know. Maybe jet fuel melts steel beams. I have no idea, bro. I wasn't there. But overall, I'm okay with the amount of polls that are given, but if the total patch polls is only like a tiny upgrade over normal, that does sound pretty weak to me, and I would still find that kind of disappointing. But I'm glad that Kuro Games was willing to listen on this and add more. I felt like they kind of had to, though. I could still see a lot of people using the anniversary as ammunition, though, against Kuro and saying, this isn't enough, though. You think this will satiate us? We'll have to see if that actually happens. And if it does, and if it still happens, and believe me, from what I've seen from a lot of Asia in the past, from all sorts of incidents in other gacha games, I could possibly see some players in China or Japan being like, oh, that's it? Well, you think that's all worth? Oh, well, now we're really pissed, right? That sometimes will happen where giving out things that people don't consider to be enough only fans the flames even more. Like sometimes it's like, oh, what, you think that's all we're worth still? Like, so we'll see, right? That could happen though. But me personally, I think it's kind of enough. But I understand anyone who still doesn't think it's enough. And I really, really, really think all they had to do was give out a selector of the standard units and, 5-star weapons. And then you just add on Jian and Yinlin. Let's be real. No one's pulling for Jian and Yinlin, bro. Just add them onto that selector and their weapons. And everyone would be like, you know what? This is sick. I'm totally down. I really think that would have solved most of it. I think if they just gave that out either during the anniversary or as this compensation, people would have been like, you know what? That's amazing. Because realistically, they lose nothing by giving that selector out. And Jian and Yinlin, old characters, people would still be down for the weapons. And I really think that that would have just completely solved most of it. So, oh well. I think it would have just been such a cheap and easy way for them to do it because they just lose nothing. Because people aren't going to pull it anyways. But anyways, that's kind of my full thoughts on this whole anniversary update, I guess.